Hi, I am Anamika Jain. I head and own a supply chain company, and I'll talk about essential traits to be a successful supply chain leader, which I learned through my personal journey. When I got this first office made for our company, I put up a nice board with a quote on it, "Think big." We all know how thinking big is important for the success and growth of a company. It's about visionary leadership, bold moves, and big impact. But when it comes to supply chain management, is thinking big enough? I'll share a story from my personal experience. Back in 2018, we were onboarding our first major client as their 3PL provider. I was very excited because with just that one client, we would double the volume of work we were doing at that time. So you can imagine how important it was for us. We planned new capacity, hired talent, were working on integration. I believed we had done everything right as a part of the big plan. Things were smooth until we were 1 month into the transition. We started facing problems in receiving their goods from their existing facility to ours. It was a difficult situation. We delayed the inwards, there were inaccuracies, and it took us 1 complete year to get over the problems we faced at that time. In retrospect, it taught us many things. In this case, we had discussed with our client the overall inward strategy, but had not told them how they should send their stocks to us lot by lot, day by day. When it comes to supply chain management, planning to the T is important. Leaving decisions for the go could turn in potential roadblocks. So paying attention to the detail and thinking small are essential skills to be successful in this field. As heading the operations in my own company, I see me switching between thinking small and thinking big several times during the day. The ability to zoom in and zoom out seamlessly are great superpowers to be a successful supply chain leader. A few days ago, I got a similar post in my LinkedIn feed. The day in the life of a supply chain professional. It's sort of funny, but true. As supply chain professionals, we plan our day around the many tasks we have to complete. We generally are in excess of the time available with us, making us feel as if it's a routine drudgery. As a part of the 3PL industry, I get to meet many global supply chain leaders from across organizations. And the one quality I see common in them is their ability to ask the right questions and what I like to call as extracting significance from chaos. They have this knack of identifying the weakest link or the biggest opportunity for maximum impact. I remember I was having a discussion with a supply chain leader a few years ago, and I was describing to him that how returns management is challenging, it's cost intensive, labor intensive, and such a time consuming process. He placidly told me, "Anamika, when you are handling 5 million units of returns every year, why don't you set up a dedicated returns management facility?" That one conversation and simple idea led to the development of our dedicated returns management facility. It saved a lot of problems for us and our clients. We really don't have to be solving big problems like this all the time, but it's the attitude or finding better ways to do things that matters. We get to hire many supply chain graduates from different colleges like yours every year, and we encourage them to focus on continuous improvement and share their ideas openly. However, many times when they do that, the cost of implementation doesn't balance well with the benefits from that idea. To maximize value and to balance both well, we need to think deeply and be mindfully present to the activities happening around us. And once this art of extracting significance from chaos is mastered, supply chain no longer remains a routine drudgery. Do firefighters make for great supply chain leaders? Whenever I think of crisis management, I instantly remember this quote from a book I read, that the real heroes are the ones who never fought the battle. We are taught to celebrate leaders and warriors who won battles, who resolved conflicts, who got organizations out of rut. But there are others who, with their prudence and foresightedness, prevent problems. I call them preventive thinkers. So during my own early days in my company, I would work hyperactively with my team whenever there was a crisis. We would jump in, build communication, devise strategy, and almost always come out in flying colors solving the problem at hand. And I took pride in the fact that I am this pro troubleshooter, and this is what makes me perfect for supply chain, because I believed that supply chain is about problem solving. When it was business as usual, I would leave my team on their own, providing little guidance or mentorship. I would only pitch in when I was required the most, and it worked for me because it saved me time. Over years, I started noticing a pattern. Whenever a troubleshooting episode like this happened, the manager in that team resigned in a few months. I was not able to wrap my head around why that was happening until I realized that whenever I stepped into his or her shoes, I left him feeling ineffective. So while I was winning battles, I was leaving my team weak and wounded. And that taught me a very important lesson. As a supply chain leader, my job is not to solve problems, but to prevent them. And for that, I need to provide guidance and training to my team so that they can fight their battles on their own, or better still, not have to fight them at all. As firefighters, you may be glorified, but as preventive thinkers, we are going to create value which lasts beyond us. How do we manage large teams? So if you are associated with that part of supply chain which is about moving goods, you know that you got to deal with large teams. And in a dynamic setting where new processes are getting added every day or getting updated, as supply chain leaders, we really got to ask ourselves, how do we lead our team? Is it by guiding and mentoring them on what they should do or how they should plan? Well, of course, we could do that. But the problem is that however good we may be at that, we can never be perfect. Because there are finer details and aspects of supply chain which are not known from a distance. The people to know them first and to know them fast are the people closest to the ground. So it all boils down to empowering them to take the right decisions at the right time. How do you do that? I remember a few months ago we had this client who had a large surge in returns volume. As leaders in the company, we were all committed to complete that in time. So dashboards were set up, reports were flown in. In the end, we were happy because we could complete the returns on time. However, when it was time to send the stocks out, we crashed. The average order processing time was over 72 hours. In our urge to complete the returns on time, we did not pay enough attention to our method of doing that. And it happens. Sometimes we are fixated on achieving a particular goal that we ignore equally important but undeclared objectives. And the best way to deal with that is to decentralize decision making. And we do that with a not to-do list. So instead of guiding our team on what they should do or how they should plan, we have given them a rule book on what they cannot do or should not do. That's short, easy to adapt, saves us ton of time in training and mentorship, but most important, it provides freedom to our team to make choices and take decisions. So these are the essential traits I learned from my personal journey of 10 years leading a supply chain company. Thinking big and small, extracting significance from chaos, being a preventive thinker, and leading the team with a not to-do list. I hope that helps. Thank you.